I want to thank my sponsors, Pioneer Linens and Juliet Califf Interior Design. Pioneer Linens, the fourth generation owned luxury linen store since 1912, is known for their luxury bed linens, bath towels, designer table decor, and now their newly launched private label signature collection with bespoke options and exclusive patterns. Located on Clematis Street in downtown West Palm Beach, owner Penny Murphy and her daughters Marissa and Camille lead their exceptional team of experts and are on hand to assist with all your design needs for your home or yacht. For more information, log on to pioneerlinens.com. Juliet Califf is an interior designer and CEO of her full-service luxury firm. With offices in San Juan and Miami, Juliet has a niche expertise serving high-profile professionals ranging from executives, entrepreneurs, authors, and professional athletes. Her firm creates a truly personalized concierge and white glove experience. For more information, log on to julietcaliff.com. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Perfectly Palm Beach. I am Janie Chase, and my buddy Guy, who is usually with me and right by my side, is off doing a design lecture today. So he was unable to come into the studio, but I'm back in the studio, and I love being here. And what I really love is my guest today, who I have been friends with for several years now. He's one of my favorite people in town. He is the one and the only Josh Cohen, whose show on ESPN 106.3 is Josh Cohen and the Home Team. And you literally, I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here and I adore you, you have the best voice in the business.
That's not even close to accurate, but I
think it
appreciate
is.
you.
Yeah.
For some reason,
Love that voice.
You like the raspy, beat up. You're a broadcast professional. You have a career in entertainment. So you know different texture and tone. I got an email one time asking about if I would be available to be the new voice of Harley Davidson for the Southeast or something.
Yeah,
and,
I get that.
And it wasn't, the guy said, we're looking for someone whose voice sounds like they gargle with gravel and broken glass. And I was like, oh.
Oh, no, your voice is much smoother than that. I know several people that tune in to you, not just because you are like the authority on sports. You know so much that's going on everywhere, all over the country.
Thank you.
But also because your voice is, it pulls people in.
They like the sound of gravel and broken glass. Was that a compliment, do you think?
It's a major compliment,
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us, give me those call out numbers again, and what's it called, so everybody knows how to hear you.
Yep.
And let's talk about your show.
Yeah, longtime host of Josh Cohen and the Home Team. Now, Josh Cohen and the Home Team with Dean Thomas and Tina. We air weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. live.
New time slot.
Time we were 3 to 5 p.m. We got to start an hour later and go an hour later. So therefore 4 to 6, which is perfect, my favorite. And the show is going to turn 23 years old in September.
Incredible, Josh. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
We were at Clear Channel for the first 12 and a half, 13.
Right.
ESPN West Palm now for the rest. So yeah, ESPN 106.3 FM. Also, ESPN app, free worldwide. And on smart speakers, also free live worldwide, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Fabulous.
It's a great gig.
It's a great gig. And 4 to 6 is everybody's, in their car on their way home from work or running to the grocery store or picking up their kids or doing whatever they're doing. So that's an awesome time. It's the time I'm in my car.
We were talking the other day about, I'm a radio lifer. I started in television, found personality talk radio, and enjoyed that so much more. That television was just and I'm doing TV stuff again. I just did Honda Classic TV. I do some tennis TV.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute.
But morning drive radio, they go, oh, that's where you want to be. You want to wake up at 4 a.m. I mean,
I do. I did it for several years where I was on Martha Stewart radio show on Sirius XM.
Not fun.
I loved it. I love Martha. I loved it. It was a 3-hour call-in show. But I literally, that alarm going off at 4:30 is tough.
Listen, I'm in my late 20s and I'm a single guy and I've got no wife, no kids, and I'm living this new wave of the world is yours. And then the boss calls me in and says, we're going to give you a promotion. We're going to give you a new 3-year contract. And here's what the new lineup's going to be. And they're like, morning drive. And like my world was shattered. Literally, like I went into a depression. I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
And I can't relate to those folks.
Yeah.
I never was one of them. I think it's so important to be relatable.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
Afternoon drive, people are thinking about what they're going to eat, what they're going to watch, what they're going to drink, what they're going to gamble on, the party, the concert.
And the game that night and all that kind of stuff, right? Exactly. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's start where your career started, because there are a lot of people that listen that are young and entrepreneurial, and they kind of want to get into this business. And then there are people that are in their, third and fourth chapters that are interested in doing something different. So
Sure.
talk about how it all started for you.
Well, again, I was a college kid that was a mass comm major. I thought I was going to be Don Draper before there was Mad Men. I always.
You mean an actor?
No,
or
no,
an
no.
advertising guy?
I'm an advertising guy.
Ah.
I thought I'd be the advertising, branding, marketing guy, because that's what I always did, was watch TV. TV raised me. It really did. Television was my caregiver, educator, and best friend because of the circumstances of my childhood and how we grew up. And that story is another story for another day. But in college, I really thought the mass comm folk, I didn't imagine I was going to be a TV guy. I didn't think I was going to be a radio guy. But then in college, I got a gig because, you got to pay your bills when you're in college. You need money for beer and things.
Oh, sure.
I got a gig with a promotional company, emceeing bar parties, Jack Daniels, Southern Comfort, Jägermeister, etc. And so I got comfortable on the mic and getting people's attention and getting the point across and that.
Right.
And I knew how to kind of tell the story because
free drinks.
Get free drinks. That led to me walking through the student union one day and a guy saying, "You're the guy from Kappa Sig. You're the guy that hosts those parties." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "We have a campus television station that is legit, and we need someone to do the sports anchor opposite a new guy, like Sports Center. And we'd like for you to come in and try out."
Oh, man, that's awesome.
I was like, "Why not?"
How old are you now? You haven't graduated. This is still while you're in college.
Yeah, I'm still in college. I'm about to go into my senior year of college. So I tested and they go, "You're the guy. You're it." So then I thought, okay, well, I guess I'm going to be a sportscaster. I guess that's what I'm going to do. And out of college, I got on a sports TV show in Philly. Then I hosted one in Scranton, reported on the one in Philly simultaneous. But then I found this radio, these Love Doctors here in South Florida on the radio, and realized, yeah, I'd rather do that. And so that became that. I came up.
How did you get to Southern Florida? From Western
I-95 South. From Philly, I-95 South.
Yeah, we know that corridor well.
That story is, listen, there wasn't a job. There wasn't a girl. There wasn't a
You literally just picked up and went because you wanted to live down here?
The universe was telling me, you got to leave Philadelphia. Even though I had 2 gigs going, the universe said it's time to go. And me and a buddy were planning on going to Vegas because Vegas was exploding into the 90s. Okay. Growing, boom, and boom. Okay. And we went out there with the intention of, I already told my roommate I'm leaving. He was going elsewhere. I told my job, I'm running out, finishing up. And they said, we understand completely. We went out there to go sign a lease. And on the way to the airport, we're going to sign a lease, go to the airport, fly back. He goes, "Let's go get a drink." And I knew he was backing out. And he's like, "I can't do this. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't seem right." And I knew he was right, but I was like, "No, man," because I had nowhere to be in 2 weeks. Literally.
23 years old. You want to go to Vegas.
I've got nowhere to be in 2 weeks. Yeah. I've got nowhere to live. So I'm okay with the adventurous, but like now I look stupid because when you leave the party, you can't go back in and be like, "All right, I'm coming back to hang out again." Yeah. I said basically goodbye to the job with Guinness and to the job with television. Yeah. And, life was pretty good in that. But in my soul, you got to listen to the universe. And the universe, like, you don't belong here.
You're very young at 23 years old when you're a senior in college to really know to listen to that little inner voice.
I was 24, 25.
Yeah, still, that's super young. It takes people a lifetime to listen to that voice.
I learned. And so I was stuck. And what am I going to do? I got on the payphone at a Chili's in Vegas and made a phone call. And someone said, "Hey, we got a little villa on Hutchinson Island in Stuart, Florida. Why don't you just go live there for a couple months? It's summertime and figure out a freaking job and go somewhere and figure it out." And I got down to South Florida and it just felt like you're supposed to be here. And then I heard those guys on the radio and I didn't think, well, but I knew
that was a real show, The Love Doctors.
Was it? Yeah. Yeah. That Love Doctors was an enormous radio show.
Relationships.
Well, this is like a Netflix series in development right now.
Wow.
The Love Doctor thing was beyond the boundaries of FCC, but they weren't enforcing because it wasn't Janet Jackson yet. The things that were said and done on the radio in that studio
never be done now.
Were unspeakable.
Oh no. Yeah.
Unspeakable.
Right. Love Doctors makes me think it's about relationships and about, like, it was pre-Dr. Ruth, right?
Yeah, no. This was, Love Doctors, people were calling in unscreened, unscripted with anything and everything from a man saying, I was born in the wrong body. And I know this.
Yeah.
And I know that they call us trannies and this was the mid-late 90s, right?
Oh, yeah,
Anything from that to a guy calling in who was confessing to murder, to someone calling in saying that they think their best friend is cheating. Their best friend is messing around with their fiance. Anything and everything.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I joined forces with them. They said, "Look, come work with us." Wow. We launched the Hot Talk format in 99, and the rest is history.
Wow, Josh, that's really incredible.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, I loved when I did a call-in show. I mean, it is so much fun to talk to people. You really feel like you're touching lives. I know, because you and I have talked about this, that you really love your listeners.
Yes.
And that there are, you really feel like you have a real relationship. Yes, exactly.
I'm grateful for the audience because they have paid every bill that I've had and given me every experience that I've gotten since 1999.
You were saying that there were certain people that have called in and they had to switch their doctor's appointment because they wanted to listen to you, and people making that choice because you bring a lot of joy into their lives.
It really, for the most part, it's a disposable medium, and it's kind of like junk food. It's Hot Talk FM and at ESPN, a little more sports than it was previous. But yeah, when someone would say, I want you to know, I scheduled my chemotherapy appointments around your show. So I knew I had something to look forward to when I was puking my guts out, or I knew that, it was going to distract me.
You got me through my divorce, or you got me through this difficult move, or whatever it was.
And it's not me. At that point, really, it's the callers and the interaction of everybody else. If I'm the star of the show, something's wrong. If I'm the star of the show, then it's not what it's supposed to be. That's not the intention. That's not how it worked. And thank God that's not, how it did work.
So you came down here, you got on that show. So how did you get from Love Doctors to
I didn't
finish that thought?
Right. I didn't get on that show. I came down here and I dreamt up a sports talk television show and pitched it to a local Treasure Coast television station.
Yep.
And one day I was listening to these Love Doctors, and the guy called in and said, "Hey, have you ever seen this guy, Josh Sports Talk Live?" And I thought I was going to get humiliated because I figured neither host would have any idea who I was. And the primary host, Dr. Rich, said, "Yes, I watch that guy every night. You learn more in the first 5 minutes than you do in a half an hour Sports Center. I don't know why he's here, but he won't be here long." And I was blown away. And so I sent a message back through an intermediary, like, let those guys know.
I know that about you.
I admired those guys, and I loved what they were doing. I couldn't believe that they knew who I was. I couldn't believe somebody was watching, to be honest with you. A little cable access kind of station.
Yeah.
Aaron reruns of Columbo. And that was the beginning of that. And I went in with them, and he says, "Give me a year. I want to work together." He says, "Give me 1 calendar year." So I stuck around, and the TV thing went away. Station ran out of money. I think I made $450 a week or something. They couldn't swing that. And so they went under. Mm-hmm. And we launched a Hot Talk format in September of 99 that really, that day, NEW in New York, they flipped formats. I think there were 4 or 5 stations in the country that did. And it was this birth of this Hot Talk personality format radio that changed everything, that really birthed podcasts. The style of podcast came from that little explosion of what Stern was kind of doing, but everyday part.
Right.
And then just real conversational stuff that wasn't staged or scripted or bits.
I mean, listen, he laid the groundwork for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question about it. And just the fact that he was reading, ads of sponsors, that changed the whole format of those kinds of shows.
Of course.
You've had so much success, Josh, really. I mean, it's, knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
From where you started and where you are now, the media landscape has changed so much. So talk to us a little bit about how important social media is, for your life and your show, and how before we get into the sports talk, I want to just know, like, how that technology has really changed so much and how that affects your professionals.
I mean, the good news is, back in my day when we started, you had to use traditional media, right? Now you don't. Now all you need is a smartphone. Everybody has a global television network in their pocket. Everyone has the ability to capture things, to break news, to break stories via social media, as well as generate content. You've got people who never put together a resume, never applied for a gig, never nothing. Instead, started a YouTube channel, started an Instagram page, started a Twitter page, and created content, and then built a brand, and then sold, if need, merchandise and or, upgrade membership. Yeah, So what I tell young people or people that are like interested in it is, figure out what you love to do and then figure out how to get paid to do it. But you got to carve a unique niche. You say, well, I know everything about, no. Really almost narrow casting, specializing in. You're going to be, there's a photographer that was at the Polo match the other day, and his daughter loves the New York Mets. And I said, well, go all in on that. She was a 19-year-old college kid. You're the Mets chick. Get the Twitter thing. And because you're a unique perspective as
Did she get that?
she did.
Yeah.
And now gets credentialed to do things and such.
Awesome.
Create your own brand.
Right.
Donald Trump created a brand back in the 80s. He said, I am the biggest, I am the most, I'm the richest. And no one could fact check it. It wasn't accurate, but he claimed it, declared it, and there it was. And if you look, you go to Trump Tower in New York, you look on the, it's Trump Steakhouse, Trump Coffee Shop. The brand is the brand. Now it's cool that his last name does mean like the greatest than, better than, right? Lucky in that sense. But, the idea being declare yourself, create that niche, and then you can. And you don't need, comedians now don't go through HBO. They don't say, I'll take 50 grand for a special. Instead, they produce their own and then they sell it themselves on iTunes and other distribution platforms for $5.
But so the technology that really has changed so much is social media, how much that plays a role in creating and developing an audience. With that in mind, obviously the people that are watching have changed. So the way that I might watch television, or my kids, or
consume.
my consume. Okay,
Yeah, right.
consume. The way exactly. So the way my husband and my boys consume sports, for instance, or whatever they're watching,
Yeah.
is different from you, and different from Jimmy Smith, who's 19 years old.
What's
So how
consumed?
has that changed?
Yeah.
Really?
What's consumed, how it's consumed, and when it's consumed
Right.
is absolutely different and revolutionary to what it was. We live in an on-demand society. The generation now that's known as Gen Z, right? They're the millennial post. So millennials and now this new Gen Z, they've always had what they've wanted when they wanted. These kids from their earliest memories had DVD players in the car to watch what they wanted. They've had tablets, internet access, always.
Right.
So you can't tell them, no, your show comes on 8:00 Thursday night. And you got to wait again next Thursday for it again. They want the season to consume.
Streaming thing that they want. They want it anytime they want it, all the time.
Right. They want what they want when they want, and that's all they're accustomed to. So
Right.
that's why the Netflix model is such, and seasons dump all together, not episode by episode. But HBO, still
A little bit.
episode by episode, you have to, right?
Yeah, Ben's new TV series that's on NBC. That's they're releasing episodes every week.
Right. The old model.
Right.
And I get that. But sports is really the one thing that is kind of DVR proof, is kind of because of social media,
right.
and everyone has Twitter's a second screen going.
Yeah.
You're not going to well, I'll watch the game later. You got to watch now.
Let's talk about sports for a second, because it's a big deal in my household, of course, as you well know, and
Yep.
it's a big deal in your life, obviously, because of your radio show. So when you live in South Florida, you think that well, let me just say this. When I was growing up, there was a team that was associated with my city, right? Now that everybody and their brother has moved to South Florida, everybody's team is represented around there. So you're no longer just a local sports guy.
Never was.
You got to talk about national stuff.
Always
right?
was.
Right.
Always was.
So because your audience is also, there might be Steelers fans, but they also want to talk about the Heat, and they want to talk about this thing, right?
Because of this market,
Right.
ESPN West Palm, our local shows are really national shows.
Right.
Because it represents the community thereof. We own ESPN Cleveland, and they're Browns and Cavs all day in and in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we own ESPN Milwaukee, and that's Packers and Bucks all in all day. Here, it's as much. It really is what the national stories are. Is what we're on.
It's you're lucky.
Yes.
You're lucky that way.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because somebody who's in Pittsburgh, for instance, which is where I'm from, and I'm a huge Steelers fan, and
Mhm.
I have been to every major, football game there is. I mean, my dad dragged us to Pitt games and Steeler games, and I've been to every Super Bowl that the Steelers have ever been in.
Nice.
Just giving my boys a plug here. I
Yeah.
love that team.
Still current.
But if you're in Philadelphia, you don't want to hear about the Steelers. And if you're in Cleveland, you don't want to hear about the Steelers. You want to hear
No.
about the Browns. You want to,
Right.
right? So
Not here.
no, this is national. It's
This isn't-
cool. I
this
love
is-
that.
Yeah, this isn't a dolphin market. This isn't no. This is a national story market. And more than that, because it is paradise, we get to do a lot more. I mean, listen, I do guy talk, we do personality talk, and there's some sports in that.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. This is not a hardcore sports show.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, it's because I'm not in the business of trying to prove how smart I am. I'm in the business of getting as many people to listen for as long as we can get them to, so they will then go do business with our partners. It's the advertising business.
It is indeed.
Yep. People watch the news and like, well, it's the obligation of the cable news network to inform and educate. No, it's not. All they're trying to do is get as many people to watch for as long as they can because they're trying to sell minivans and toilet paper and Advil. People forget what the purpose is. Now, they can't give false information. At least they shouldn't, but we know cable news, how that operates. Their job is simple. Get as many people to watch for as long as you can so you can get more money for that commercial, for Advil, and for that Chrysler minivan. And that's it.
So the sports that are in South Florida, we got amazing golfers living here, amazing tennis players, amazing basketball players, amazing football players, boaters. I don't know what else, paddle boarders. I mean, you name it, we got it. So talk a little bit about, I know you know that community so well, and talk about all the people that are here for our listeners who might not know.
Bottom line is we live in an age of content consumption and narrowcast that you can get whatever you want, whenever you want. If you want a paddleboarding podcast, there's probably 5 of those. There are certain universal truths. Human beings like food. They like thinking about it, talking about it. Human beings like to learn a quick little thing that might be useful. They like a shortcut, like a life hack, if you will. They like music and they like movies and they like to dispute things like, is a hot dog a sandwich? Technically, I guess it is. So
technically it is.
We're not complicated people.
I guess, yeah.
And you can either go on the air and try and prove how smart you are and find another job in 9 months, or you can do one radio show 2 places for 23 years because you realized, don't try to prove how smart you are and don't preach it to people. Instead, amuse them, engage them, entertain them, represent them, give them a little something to think about, a little something to feel, a little something to laugh about, and get those things involved. Nobody wants to turn on the radio in their afternoon drive, leaving a job they don't get paid enough for, heading home when they're not appreciated enough, on a commute too long with traffic that sucks, and have to think too hard.
But they want to hear about Dustin Johnson. They want to hear about Tiger. They want to hear about Ricky Fowler. They want to hear about all those guys, the Williams sisters. They want to hear about all those people that are here. And we are lucky.
Yes.
There's so much talent here.
We are, but they want to hear about Dustin Johnson. When I was at Cucina and he came walking in and these college boys like, hey, and I just took this kid's arm and knocked it down and said, not tonight. Because I wasn't in the room and somebody reaching over me. And DJ and Pauline were going to be sitting next to me. And regardless, plus leave the guy alone.
You're saying that people want to know the celebrity aspect. I'm talking about
real life stuff.
How about that hole in one? Like how did he play the Honda Classic? I mean, you're saying that I think people want to hear that. People my age want to hear that.
If you want the facts, there's lots of places to get it. On that same smartphone, you may stream the show.
Yeah.
You can read the story. You can look at the box score. You can look at the leaderboard.
Yeah.
They want the story about when he said, what are you drinking? And I told him, he said, what's your name? And I said it. And he said, you got to be bleeping kidding me, because he and I were both named in a lawsuit situation involving, again.
Oh, we don't want to go there.
No, but not.
No. This is called Perfectly Palm Beach, John.
Understood.
Yeah.
But this isn't secret stuff.
No, I'm kidding.
It's just the drama.
I'm kidding.
It's the drama, the human stuff.
Yeah.
People.
No, look, we love that. We want to know that we share things with celebrities and people that we admire.
Yep.
Oh God, he went through that too.
Yep.
I mean, I get all of that. It's relatability.
The loss was over a girl, by the way.
But
it was involving a
over
girl. Yeah, I mean,
well, that's good too.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't like bad stuff.
Yeah, okay, well that's good too. But I'm just saying, I think living in a place where there are sensational sports, it really puts people over the line. It's a selling point.
Greatest golfers in the world live here. Some of the greatest tennis players in the world train here.
Yes.
Greatest fighters in MMA, the UFC, Bellator, PFL, they all live here. This is the episode. Forget about the legends, because all the all-time greats, they all came here to live after they got done playing, competing. But no, we have all that. You're right. We really do.
The people that are playing now. Yep. I mean, I love all the people that are retired that are here. You know, the Joe Namath and people. Yep. We love, you know, Keith Hernandez. We love those guys. But I'm talking about the young people. You know, Venus and Serena and Tiger and Dustin and all those guys that are here. I mean, I did stories on them all the time at Modern Luxury when I was the editor-in-chief. Yep. And you know, because you wrote some of those for me.
I did.
I just, to me, it gets me excited, which is one of the reasons why I think people love tuning into your show.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. You know, you just mentioned 5 iconic names, and they live within a 6-mile radius.
It's incredible.
A 6-mile radius.
Yeah.
5 or 6 between Jupiter Island and Gardens. Yep.
Right. This is a good place to live. Best golf courses, I think, in the world.
It is. This market, you know, obviously this market, if television purpose, you know, ratings wise, watches more golf than most of the country. Arizona, you get for obvious reasons, and tennis too. But this market absolutely consumes the Summer and Winter Olympics, unlike few other markets in the country.
Interesting.
Which is interesting about the makeup of who is, you know, the West Palm Beach greater television market.
Well, wait, let's talk a little bit about all the exciting things that you're doing, because you don't just do this show. You do a lot of different things. Yep. You're doing tennismajors.com and then the UFC. Yep. I don't know a lot about fighting, even though I've got a child I should know, right? I should be a mom that knows about boxing.
A little bit. Yeah.
Or wrestling. No boxing.
Boxing. Yeah.
I really should.
Tennismajors.com. Patrick Mouratoglou is a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine. He is.
Tell everybody who he is.
Yep. Patrick Mouratoglou is Serena Williams' tennis coach for the last decade. Wow. Yeah. And they've had tremendous success, obviously, together. Correct. He also is the owner and operator of the largest tennis academy in Europe, Mouratoglou Academy and Resort, which is just outside of Nice. And this is where the future stars of the game are going to middle school, high school, in training to become. So some of the alum are Stefano Tsitsipas, Coco Gauff, many, many others in process. But those are the names you go, oh, of course, yes.
Did you move with your kid to the south of France?
No, you send your kid. Okay. And your kid goes to school there. Okay. And your kid
it's like going to boarding school. I sent my kid to boarding school. Yeah.
Yeah. So Coco Gauff, you know, who I know, and her dad, Corey's a friend of mine, left Delray Beach, and she goes to school at the academy where she trains, plays, attends school like any other high school kid. Yeah. So he has a digital media platform that he launched, tennismajors.com. So I host a video show called Match Points, and it's a tennis debate show. And so my panel will be Simon Cambers, the president of International Tennis Writers Association. Marion Bartoli, she's our panelist. She is a former Wimbledon champion and a great, she won Wimbledon in 2013, I want to say. And then Carol Bouchard, who is a tennis writer. So it'll be a joint video Skype call, you know, where everyone's shooting their own video and then they assemble it. And I'm in West Palm Beach, and Simon is in London, and Carolyn is in Paris, and
so fun. And you're touching everybody in the world.
And Bartoli is in Abu Dhabi. Yeah. So it truly is a global kind of a thing that we're doing on Skype with the video. Yeah.
It's exciting.
It is. It's fun. Podcast I do with the Lover and the Fighter.
1 second though. When does that air?
It airs whenever you want. Because remember,
that's right.
We live in an on-demand society.
Right.
Tennismajors.com.
Already taped it. It's up there.
We do episodes, you know, whatever. I mean, certainly when you get into, you know, Grand Slam season, a little more, a little more frequently. Right. But tennismajors.com. There's a lot of content. You can click on link and watch. And, you know, for tennis lovers that really want a new perspective, insight, the things you were talking about before.
It's exciting.
Beyond the facts. Yes, it is. It is.
Cool. You know what? I didn't mention Polo. And how could I not mention Polo? I mean, Polo is so huge here. Mm-hmm. And we love and adore the World Polo League. We love Melissa Ganzi and Mark Ganzi.
Your friends.
And you know, I think she's one of the most amazing women around. And I'm hoping to get her on the show soon.
You will.
So you're the voice of that, right?
Well, I from the onset of World Polo League, Melissa had messaged me and said, I want you involved. We're launching a new thing.
Yeah.
And I said, what capacity? And she said, kind of this, kind of that. And I said, hold on. And then we brought in ESPN West Palm. There was a great partnership for several years. And then currently not working together. Melissa and Mark and I and Grant and family will remain friends forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
She, I refer to them. They're the custodians of the game. They're the keepers of the game. She's the first lady of the game. She's the global ambassador of the game.
I mean, I think one of the most favorite pictures I ever took of her when we did that story on her for Modern Luxury, you guys, everybody go, I'm going to find out and put this online. I can't remember what month it was. I think it was January maybe or February. She's so beautiful and strong, and she's holding 3 horses in this hand.
Yeah.
And 3 horses.
It's a great picture.
Hand. And she's in front, and she is so strong and dynamic. And, I'm in awe of her. I think she's amazing.
We recently had International Women's Day, and she had posted a picture. She was the first woman in Saudi Arabia to play polo. She, they're the keepers of the game. They're the first family.
Breaking that ceiling. Whew.
Right. I that's the message I wrote to her. I said, legend, pioneer, trailblazer, my dear friend.
Yeah.
And she said, thank you so much, friend. Yeah.
That's so great. Great. So it's not just the tennis stuff that you're doing. You're also doing things for polo.
Yep.
And then tell us about the UFC.
Well, yeah.
Is it called UFC?
I'm
so dumb.
Yep.
I mean, about what,
MMA
I'm
is,
a mother. What do I know about it?
MMA is the sport. It's mixed martial arts. UFC is the league.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah.
There's a little bit of economy there.
I need to have Googled that. I'm sorry. I didn't. It wasn't a big part of my research on.
You're great. I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit.
MMA.
Mixed martial arts.
Okay.
And the
For all of
greatest,
you guys that are into that out there, that's cool. I'm excited about that.
the greatest MMA UFC fighters in the world live in Palm Beach County and Broward County.
Wow, good for them. That's awesome. Love
that.
And
Brazil.
Love that.
But I'm doing the podcast I do with my radio host and best buddy, Dean Thomas, Lover the Fighter. We are now negotiating there to finalize to bring a version of that to UFC Fight Pass. So that's paid content, subscription based for the UFC, which as you know is owned by Endeavor, who purchased the UFC in 2016 for $4.3 billion with a B.
That's a good number.
The UFC went from a $2 million company in the year 2000 to being sold 16 years later for $4.3 billion, which is the greatest turnaround in sports history.
Is that true?
Financially, no one's been able to take a $2 million company, put it to $4.6 billion.
Well, martial arts are huge around the world.
Mixed martial arts, yes, have exponentially. And the UFC's really become a fourth league, if you will, in North American sports.
But why is it mixed? Why are you saying mixed?
Well, mixed martial arts meaning that you are grappling, you are practicing jiu-jitsu, but you're also striking and boxing, the disciplines thereof. That's the mixing.
There's a mix of disciplines that are involved.
Correct. All those disciplines together.
Well, you are a busy man.
You're a busy woman.
Geez, so what, just before we go, I got to ask 2 more questions. One is there something that you haven't done that you want to do?
Something that I want professionally?
Yeah.
I want to work the red carpet at the Grammys, and then I want to do it again at the Oscars.
Oh, you do?
Because what are you wearing? Who are you wearing? Okay, it's fine. But
I think you and I would be great doing that together. I have always wanted to do that. And every time that I'm watching, and I covered Fashion Week for years, and I was the fashion reporter for GMA and ABC and a lot of different events and premieres in New York and whatever. I can't stand the questions that they ask. I don't care who they're wearing either. I mean, I know you have to ask it, but they're it's all about like, how did that speak to you? There's so many more things to talk about, right?
I want to ask Halle Berry on the red carpet, who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Yeah. Love that.
Fun stuff, relatable stuff, interesting stuff.
Right, exactly. Relatable stuff. Like, what'd you do today? How was your day?
Yeah. What's the one thing that you hate having to cut out of your diet when you're getting in shape for a film role?
Exactly. Because I know that's hard.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. Listen. Let's pitch it.
You and I together on the red carpet.
That would be really good. Okay, so those are the 2 things that you'd like to do, and
seems fun.
Okay, and then the last thing I want to ask you is, we ask all of our guests this. You got a buddy coming in to Palm Beach for the weekend, and they've never been here before. What do you do with them? Where do you take them? What are your favorite spots?
It depends. You get dressed up, go over the bridge. I might get a little meatloaf at Meat Market, where I was last night. briefly.
It's delicious there, isn't it?
It is. And people they go, you come to meat market, you eat meatloaf? And I go, you haven't tried the meatloaf.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing.
Don't worry the fact it's $39 or whatever. It's not the point.
Yeah.
Right? It's
right,
like, I am a downtown West Palm kind of guy. Of course, I'm going to go visit, the great brands that I endorse if and when that's possible.
Right.
Because listen, all I have is my credibility. I may get the prediction wrong for the Super Bowl. I didn't the last 2 years. But all I have is my credibility. And I'm never going to I'm never endorsing a company or a product that I didn't use before, that I haven't paid for myself, that I wouldn't continue to if they weren't working with us.
Okay, let me rephrase my question. That you go to the beach, you go to Polo. Like, what do you do?
I have friends in town. Well, I'm a concert guy. I'm a concert guy. Not that much of a museum guy, to be honest. Not in person. I'm
drive up north. You stay down here.
I stick around here. Get on the Bright Line.
Yeah.
Bright Line, Fort Lauderdale, Miami.
Super fun. Yeah.
Love Bright Line.
Easy, guys, to do that. God,
love Bright Line.
Wonderful. What a great addition.
But I'm a music guy. I'm a concert guy. If it's, it's spring training and baseball's happening, I wish it would, then we'll take in some of that. But I'm not a big event guy. I'm more of a chill. I'm a hotel pool guy more than I am a beach guy.
So the reason why I named this Perfectly Palm Beach is it doesn't say perfect Palm Beach. Mm-hmm. It's perfectly, which means there's a lot of leeway for something because nothing's really perfect.
Yep.
Right. So it's kind of in your own mind what you think is perfect. So whatever your paradise is your paradise. So in terms of Palm Beach, how does that fit into your your love of this place?
Yeah, I came here by accident, as we discussed, and I chose to stay by choice. And I, without wife, kids, could do what I do anywhere in the world. And I choose to do it here, to live here, to work here, to play here, to be here, because the universe just tells me, my soul, this is where you're supposed to be. Yeah. And a lot of people are learning this and feeling this and now joining us here. And that's great. But for the new folks that come to town, I'd just like to remind them that you're still just guests for a little bit till you make yourself, till you do your time. And then you can be considered yourself a native as well. But
well, I love and adore you. I think you're amazing.
Likewise.
And your show's fantastic.
Thank you.
It is Josh Cohen and the Home Team, and it's on ESPN 106.3. You can also, and there's a free app, right? ESPN app?
On the ESPN app, free live as well. And you just tell your smart speakers. A lot of folks just have a smart speaker. Alexa, whatever.
Just talking into the phone.
You say play ESPN 106.3. Show's also available on podcast a couple hours after, because as we talked about, there's a big part of the audience that wants what they want when they want. Exactly. They don't want to listen. They want to stop it when they feel like.
Well, I'd watch you anywhere and listen to anywhere. So I really thank you so much for stopping by today. You're like really so authentic and genuine. And I think you embody perfectly Palm Beach. So thanks, buddy.
Thank you. So I appreciate you.
Love you a lot. Okay, everybody, stay tuned for another great episode of Perfectly Palm Beach. We'll be back soon. Thanks for tuning in.